Tonight, the conclusion of a case that started with a violent attack at a St. John's High School last year. We'll have details on a guilty plea from one of the attackers at Prince of Wales Collegiate.
It's Tourism Week, and Adventure Central is holding a series of open houses to help kickstart the season.
Things are starting slowly to get back to normal. I know for our own business, our bookings are up.
We'll have that story tonight on Here and Now.
Police make arrests after a car tears down the streets of Mount Pearl and through a power pole.
This is CBC Here and Now.
Good evening and welcome to Here and Now. One of the teenagers accused of severely beating a student at a St. John's High School last year has pleaded guilty to aggravated assault. 18-year-old Tyler Greening was among a group of students who attacked and seriously injured another student and left him at the front entrance of their high school. Greening wasn't in court today and entered the plea through his lawyer. 4 other minors who can't be identified have also pleaded guilty to the assault. 2 of them received 18 months in juvenile detention. The other 2 got 24 months each, the maximum sentence for a charge less than murder for a young offender. Greening is due back in court for a sentencing hearing on August 29th. Well, at Supreme Court, Robert Regular finished on the stand today, but the trial is not over. Regular is accused of 4 counts of sexual assault and 1 count of sexual interference. Today, the 72-year-old lawyer and businessman doubled down on his denial, but the cross-examination was more subdued than yesterday. Regular said the allegations against him have taken years off of his life and said the case wasn't investigated thoroughly enough. The defense intends to call an expert IT witness next who will address suggestions from the Crown that Regular's work calendar had been digitally altered. Small and medium-sized businesses in the province will get a financial boost from government. The announcement was made by the St. John's Board of Trade and the Employers' Council earlier today. The province will provide over $2 million to help about 600 businesses with fewer than 100 employees. Businesses that paid at least 1 worker minimum wage within the past year can apply for a one-time payment of $2,500 to $5,000. The move comes in response to the minimum wage increase at the beginning of this month, which raised minimum pay in this province by 60 cents to $15.60 an hour.
We've been immersed in inflation, interest rates are creeping, the labour market has been unstable, pressures on wages have been substantial, supply chain has been overwhelming, the price of fuel, the carbon tax, some of the federal taxes that we've seen imposed. It has been a time whereby we've had to really dig deep for our resilience. So yes, any support received from government at this time to help us offset labour is very, very welcomed.
Well, peak tourism season in this province is just around the corner, and those in the industry are preparing for what they hope will be a busy summer. To get everyone ready, Central Newfoundland's tourism organization is hosting open houses, and Here and Now's Troy Turner went to learn what that's all about.
For Adventure Central's first open house, the North Atlantic Aviation Museum played host. It offers something for everyone, from wartime flights to the area's role in 9/11, and so it helps to attract tourism to the town itself. Last year, 16,000 people came to see its exhibits. That's almost 3 times the number of visitors compared to a few years ago. And the museum's executive director has an idea where those numbers come from.
They still really appreciate what was done way back for the 9/11 thing, or the aftermath. They're still kind of in awe of that. I guess it's kept alive with the come from away.
Sandra Seward says the uptake in traffic might also be connected to the town's changing role in the province's tourism sector.
We were more considered a hub, I think, for more coastal communities. Like we had the hotels, places, for staying and whatnot. But I feel that that's changing and that people are looking for more activity here. They're looking to participate more, looking for experience, I think, more than anything.
Some local tourism operators in attendance have also seen rising interest.
We all know about the icebergs and the whales and the puffins, but we're more than that. We want to share our culture, which is a great draw when people get here and they learn about this rich cultural history. I think this year we're finally starting to see the real recovery from COVID. It's post-pandemic now. Things are starting slowly to get back to normal. I know for our own business, our bookings are up.
Collins, who's operated Hare Bay Adventures since 2018, says these days tourists crave an authentic cultural experience, so that's what they get.
We really emphasize the Newfoundland brand. Our retail space, for instance, is 100% Newfoundland and Labrador products. Our tour products, we develop them to be authentic. You can come with us and explore some of these places with people that have a deep knowledge of these local areas and are connected to them.
With tourism products as diverse as the scenery itself here in central Newfoundland, tourism operators say they are well positioned for the future and expect a few more banner seasons for the years to come. Troy Turner, CBC News, Gander.
Well, faculty at Memorial University are speaking out about the administration's move to use a corporate headhunting firm to find a new president. The faculty union has written an open letter asking the university to consider an open hiring process. They want MUN to leave the selection process up to people like staff and faculty. A recruitment agency charged about $150,000 to find the last president, Vianne Timmins. She was pushed out of her role last year following questions about her claims to Indigenous ancestry. But MUN's Presidential Search Committee voted earlier this month to hire a recruitment firm once again. The union is questioning whether that's the right move.
MUN is a public university and the only university in the province. So again, there's really an obligation to be as open and public about this process as possible. These kinds of private search firms have been used repeatedly in the past, and there's clear evidence that they've delivered little in the way of value.
Now, MUN says its in-house staff are busy and they don't have either the capacity or the expertise to take on a presidential search. But the head of the Presidential Search Committee says they will weigh the benefits of an open versus a closed search.
I would think at the first meeting that we have a consultant, that will be one of the items to be discussed as well. There are open searches, there are closed searches, in every model in between, of course. So the committee will be having certainly a robust discussion on that and make a decision as to which way it wishes to go forward on that piece.
Well, commuters in St. John's will need to plan for potential delays because of a big years-long project which is planned for the north end of the city. It includes an upgrade of Majors Path and the construction of a new roundabout at the intersection of Majors Path, Portugal Cove Road, and Airport Heights Drive. Now, the first phase of the project will begin this spring with work on the section of Majors Path stretching from Hebron Way to Portugal Cove Road. The entire project is tentatively scheduled to be complete by the fall of 2026. Well, have a look at this video recorded in Mount Pearl very early this morning. A white sedan speeding through the city tears through a utility pole on Commonwealth Avenue. The RNC says the people in the vehicle then fled on foot. Police arrested 2 people shortly after and charged a 22-year-old man with impaired driving. A St. John's woman and her friend were on a trail in Flat Rock when they stumbled upon something they had not expected to see. Here now's Arlette Lazarenko gets to the bottom of an eye-catching natural phenomenon.
Em Oates, her friend Heather, and her dog were walking down this trail in Flat Rock last week when they came across this. Trees glazed with ice, surrounded by lushful green.
It was so bizarre that we kind of got a little bit weirded out. We were like, are we walking up on it almost looked like the aftermath of some sci-fi battle.
She posted the images on social media looking for answers, and it blew up.
People were commenting, being like, what is going on? Yeah, it was definitely really weird. And I was hoping that somebody would have an answer. And then somebody was saying that it was sea spray.
It's not sea spray, but climatologist Joel Finnis does have the answer Oates is looking for.
I would guess it's probably freezing fog. So what that means is you have some droplets of water in the atmosphere that have cooled down below freezing, but they're not quite able to freeze yet. They have to wait for something to give them some structure that they can freeze onto.
If you're a hiker, you could stumble onto a scene just like this. Finnis says the province has the perfect condition to make it happen again.
If you want to see extreme icing, you live in a pretty good part of the world, right? I mean, we have so many freezing rain events. We do get freezing fog here as well. You'll often see this occurring throughout, perhaps not to such an extreme degree as these images that you've shown, and perhaps not so localized, but we do see a lot of freezing rain and freezing fog events here. It's so extreme that in the past we've had people like the National Center for Atmospheric Research from the States come into Newfoundland to do freezing rain studies and freezing rain prediction studies. We get it so often, it was kind of the ideal location.
This phenomena is something Finnis says he will take to the class he teaches at MUN as a great example of atmospheric icing. Arlette Lazarenko, CBC News, St. John's.
Wow, that last story, very cool. It looks like Elsa from Frozen might have been here freezing some things. And when we talk about things that have been frozen in the past, the snow looks like we can still see some of it along the highways, just sticking around after yesterday. And then we got this photo from Denise Martin, who says, "My tulips are a little confused about what season it is. Is it winter or is it spring?" And it looks like we might get a little bit of a reprieve. We've got that system has moved offshore. You can see that the rain is pushed away there on the satellite and the radar. And we've got clouds over the island tonight. And that's going to be the story for tonight. A few clouds sticking around, cool temperatures, especially through the interior of the island. And we are going to have some rain changing over to snow for Labrador West. But Saturday, sun and cloud, a lovely day is ahead. And you can see that precipitation moving here into Lab West in the overnight. And it's going to scatter across Labrador tomorrow and bring some weather to us tomorrow evening as well. We can talk about all of that a little later.
Between our rec and our competitive and our tumbling classes, we are packed. But we wouldn't have it any other way. We love it.
I feel like I'm always here, but I don't mind it because it's a good place to be. It's almost like my home away from home, really.
Well, it's one big community and a fast-growing sport in this province. For one cheerleading gym in Mount Pearl, the World Championships are up next. And Jeremy Eaton got to see firsthand what the craze is all about. We'll bring you that story on Monday on Here and Now. A local charity group is developing an app to help make it easier for people to volunteer.
A lot of people these days are reluctant to commit to volunteerism programs because, they require, say, 6 to 12 months commitment. Maybe it's a day a week, that kind of thing.
That's Trevor Freeborn with the Coalition of Persons with Disabilities. He's describing KindShare, an app the group hopes will connect people who want to offer help to people who need it. The app hasn't launched yet, but Freeborn describes it as the Uber for volunteerism. It will let people offer or ask for everything from free rides to snow clearing to help with groceries.
Let's say you're going to the Avalon Mall and you load up the app before you go and you see a little check mark near the mall and you click on it and you see a description of what that task is. Let's say a senior citizen needs a food donation and they want a box of rice. And you think, well, I have a box of rice and I'm going by there anyway. You would accept that task. You get the exact address of the person, maintaining their anonymity. You would go there, leave the box outside their door, ring their doorbell to let them know it's there, mark the task as complete, and then you go about your day. And you can volunteer as much or as little as you want.
And we'll hear more about the KindShare app and National Volunteer Week a bit later on Here and Now. Well, now to the Middle East. There was an apparent Israeli airstrike on Iran last night. An Israeli missile reportedly struck a military base near a nuclear facility, but the UN's atomic watchdog says there was no damage to nuclear sites. It's another in a series of strikes and counterstrikes between Israel and Iran. Last weekend, Iran sent a barrage of missiles at Israel, retaliation for a suspected Israeli strike earlier this month, where 2 senior Iranian military commanders were killed. On the St. John's Morning Show today, MUN Middle East expert Justin Fantuzzo offered some context on this conflict that dates back over 4 decades.
Now, basically, since then, Iran and Israel have been engaged in this kind of shadow covert war where the two trade barbs with each other, find ways to kind of poke and prod at each other without ever directly confronting each other militarily or really even diplomatically. I mean, the two have no diplomatic relations, right? So it really is, everything's done on the periphery and through intermediaries. We've seen that from the perspective of the Gaza conflict and the proxy groups that Iran controls throughout the region. Hezbollah, Hamas, the Houthis in Yemen, pro-Iranian groups in Iraq that have attacked U.S. positions there as well. Now, they also ship weapons and money, as we know, to Hamas, to Hezbollah. They do that mostly through Syria, so using their proxies to kind of advance their military strategy in the region, right? The strategy of not directly confronting Israel, but indirectly doing it. Now, in response, and as well thinking of the nuclear program, Israel for decades now will poke and prod back. A targeted assassination here, a drone strike of a weapons shipment there, a freezing of assets here, a cyber attack there. So this has been going on for 20, 25 years in a slightly more active phase. Now, the direct question you asked, why would Israel have done this? The answer seems to be relatively simple, as complicated as it all sounds. Israel has a pretty consistent history of striking when they feel like they have good intelligence, they have a target they want to eliminate, and they feel like they have the capability to do so. And that seems to have been the case here. Additionally, most reports coming out of places like the New York Times, the Times of Israel, Haaretz in Israel as well, also seem to suggest that this might have been another miscalculation on the part of Israel, just like the October 7th attacks by Hamas were something of a miscalculation about Hamas's capabilities. The sense seems to be that Israeli officials did not think that this attack kind of changed the game, changed the rules on the ground at all, and that it wouldn't be met by any sort of large-scale retaliation like we saw on last Saturday.
Now to some sports news. In Paradise, the province's biggest high school hockey tournament is currently underway. A total of 32 teams with students from all across the province are competing at the Royal Newfoundland Regiment Memorial Tournament. It's a chance to face off on the ice, but also to reflect on the sacrifice made by those who have served in wars. And here now's Jeremy Eaton heard about what that means to the teenagers.
What does it mean for you to be a part of such a large experience here?
It feels good to be a part of this. I'm most excited to play hockey and spend time with my friends and overall have a good time.
How does it feel getting ready to play in the biggest hockey tournament in Newfoundland and Labrador?
I'm a little bit nervous, but I am excited to be playing in this tournament. It's a pretty big one, so I'm happy that it's my last one I play in. I think it's a really big honor to be able to play in a tournament like this because it means so much to a lot of people.
I love the rink here. It's really cool, and I get to play against other teams that we don't normally get to play against on the West Coast, so it's going to be a really good experience and really great for us. They had to fight really hard for us to be able to play this tournament today, and if they didn't do what they did, then I wouldn't be here today playing in this tournament. So I think that's really a really thing that has to be remembered.
I'm really excited. I'm excited to play our first game. I think we all are really excited, so we're getting pumped up and we'll be good.
Do you know a lot about this tournament, what it's all about?
Yeah, we've watched the few videos and our coaches have talked to us about it. It's a really nice tournament. We're excited to be a part of it and proud to represent our team.
I haven't been part of too many big tournaments like this, and it's wicked seeing all the military guys out around and all that kind of stuff. So it's good to be here, fun experience. So it was good last year, hopefully it'll be good this year too.
There's so many teams in this tournament. Get to meet a lot of new people, and it's just awesome. My great-great-grandfather
was in the war, and he battled for us to be here today.
What does it mean to you to be able to take part in a tournament that honors people like your great-great-grandfather?
It's an honor. I mean, they fought so hard for us to be here today, and to be able to play a sport like hockey, it's awesome. I mean, my great-great-grandfather, he wasn't a very big man, he was only small, and he was young when he went to the war, and it's just crazy to me because I feel like I would never be able to handle all of that pressure at such a young age.
And coming up on Here Now, look at these temperatures, especially here in Churchill Falls, 12 degrees, much warmer than it is in the east. We're going to have your weather forecast coming up.
This weather update is brought to you by the Healthcare Foundation Home Lottery. The bonus prize deadline is midnight, Friday, April 12th. Order tickets now at hcfhomelottery.ca.
Okay, the weekend is here. I'm sure lots of people wondering how it's going to be this weekend, whether they should plan for some outdoor activities or stay inside.
Well, I think a lot of people stayed inside yesterday and the day before yesterday.
And today was not great.
This morning as well. So if you want to get outside, now is the time to do it. And tomorrow as well, because we're going to see some rain moving back in, starting in Lab West tonight, and it's going to come visit us later on. But first, let's talk about the current temperatures across the province. Look at this. 12 degrees in Churchill Falls and 8 in Lab West. Beautiful. Cooler along coastal Labrador, of course. 8, 9 for the west coast. And through central and eastern Newfoundland, 0 for Gander, -1 for Terra Nova, 1 here for Bonavista, and down on Cape Race. Much cooler here in the east as that system departed us, and not sitting much off today's highs in many places as well. And today was generally a much warmer day than it was yesterday, especially for the west coast and for Deer Lake there as well in the Humber Valley area. Taking a look at tonight now. So we've got some increasing clouds, some rain on the way here for Lab West, and this is going to change over to snow for you folks as everybody else has a few clouds sticking around and some clearing after that low that we had brush the east coast of Newfoundland and through central. And as we head towards midnight, that snow is going to move over Lab West and change from rain to snow. And we're going to see some increasing cloud for Labrador and for the southwest coast and parts of the island as this next system starts to move over us. Tonight, our temperatures are going to be cool right across the province, especially through the interior of the island. -7 through central, -6 in Marystown. Relatively warmer for Labrador 1, 2, where you could see that snow rain mix and clouds for the coast. Windy tonight, gusts to 70 from the north for the east of the island as that system departs. If you take a look here, you can see that we are going to have some wind chill at play here as well into the -10, -12 range for the interior of the island, where we're going to get that cool temperatures for us there. And we've got a runaway graphic. Here we go. We've got wind as well tonight. So here in the east, I was talking about that wind, a gust to 70. You can see it here for the east, and that is also going to diminish as we go into the overnight and into tomorrow. We've got some calmer winds here Saturday morning, but they'll start to pick back up again. Taking a look, when we wake up tomorrow, we'll see a little bit of cloud in some places of the island, clear skies in some, and we're going to see some increasing cloud for the west coast and the northern peninsula as this system here that moves across Labrador is going to come greet us Saturday night and into overnight Sunday. Taking a look now at tomorrow, 3, 4 degrees for the Avalon. We will see the sun, thank God. Look at this, into the double digits for Bonavista at 10, but cooler for the Burin Peninsula and Marystown at 2. Into the double digits as well for central, between 8 and 10 there, with lots of sun and some cloud for you folks. Cooler here for the Conagra Peninsula at 4 degrees. As we move on to the west coast, we're going to have a lovely day there as well, but as the weather often does, starts down here in the southwest corner. We got a chance of showers and 3 degrees for the Channel Port of Basque area. Cooler as well for Burgeo, but you do see the sun as well tomorrow with that little sun icon. Moving on into the Straits, St. Anthony, Northern Peninsula, between 6 and 8 degrees there for the most part, 9 in Cartwright, picking up a little bit more cloud as we go through southern Labrador. For the rest of Labrador, we've got some cloud for Miawpukek and Happy Valley Goose Bay. We're picking up a chance of showers for you and possibly showers in Nain here as well. Temperatures not too bad. The cool spot here for this part of Labrador is in the west, 8 for Churchill Falls and Happy Valley Goose Bay, 6 and 7 here along the coast with our winds from the southwest or the south gusting up to 50. Now we'll take a look at your long range a little later in the show, including a little bit of rain that's in the forecast for your Sunday.
This week is National Volunteer Week, a time to celebrate the work they do for the community, but it can be a struggle for organizations to find people willing to put up their hand and give their time to help out others. Now, one local group is hoping to make that search easier with a launch of a new app. Just have a look.
Well, it's an app that connects volunteers with people with disabilities and senior citizens facing barriers in the community. The goal is to make it very easy and flexible for everyone. A lot of people these days are reluctant to commit to volunteerism programs because, they require, say, 6 to 12 months commitment. Maybe it's a day a week, that kind of thing. But with KindShare, I compare it to like Uber for volunteerism, or even like Skip the Dishes. It's meant to be very flexible. It operates on your schedule. So if you were a volunteer, let's say, we have a number of programs. We have a free ride program. We have a snow clearing program, yard work, dog walking, donations of food, clothing, furniture, household maintenance and repair, and social visit. You're a volunteer and you load up the app and you would see a map of your area, and you can choose between, like, say, a 5-kilometer radius to a 50-kilometer radius. And let's say you're going to the Avalon Mall and you load up the app before you go and you see a little check mark near the mall. And you click on it and you see a description of what that task is. Let's say a senior citizen needs a food donation and they want a box of rice. And you think, well, I have a box of rice and I'm going by there anyway. You would accept that task. You get the exact address of the person, maintaining their anonymity. You would go there, leave the box outside their door, ring their doorbell to let them know it's there, mark the task as complete, and then you go about your day. And you can volunteer as much or as little as you want. The goal is for the program to be totally free, so there's no charge for anyone for a secure records check, or if we need to get a proof of insurance or a driver's abstract, we absorb all those fees.
What is your dream for this app?
I would like to see it grow as much as it can. Who knows? Maybe it could go countrywide. Right now we're starting with 20 people, so we got our feet firmly planted on the ground, and we've never developed an app before, but we're really doing our best. We're consulting with like Seniors NL, CNIB, Autism Society, Inclusion Canada NL, a number of different community organizations to ensure that we're creating something that works for everybody and is accessible for everybody.
Now, the Coalition for Persons with Disabilities was one of dozens of groups hoping to recruit volunteers during an event hosted by the Community Sector Council this week in St. John's. Now, organizers say there is a critical shortage of volunteers.
We're here at the St. John's Farmers Market for our very first volunteer and community fair. So we partnered on this with the City of St. John's, and we have brought together over 40 community organizations, most of them volunteer-led, and we wanted to encourage the public to come out and learn about what organizations are doing in their communities, and to perhaps consider giving back and donating their time, and consider volunteering, and to learn a little bit about the different types of volunteer opportunities that are out there.
And what kind of organizations are represented here?
Great question. So we really have a variety of service-based organizations. We have some that are promoting nature, wellness. There really is something for anybody here. So volunteering tends to be most successful, or people tend to volunteer for longer when they're really passionate and care about the cause that they're donating their time to. So that's really what we wanted to do today, was give people the opportunity to find out what groups are doing in their communities and to encourage them to come out and learn and maybe consider volunteering.
So this is the first time that this volunteer fair has been held.
Yep.
Why now?
Well, it is Volunteer Week, so that obviously is a natural. We're talking about volunteering. What better way to promote and celebrate the volunteers that we already have by bringing people together and inspiring other people to get involved? And as well, what we're hearing from organizations like Volunteer Canada, they have described what they've been seeing in volunteering as a crisis. So we're seeing fewer numbers of volunteers than ever before. people have been slower to come back since the pandemic, so it's really a good time to highlight and focus, let people know what opportunities there are out there. So even with those shortages in mind, Newfoundland has one of the highest rates of volunteering in the country. We know that we have a caring population. People want to take care of each other. They want to help out and do good things. So we wanted to make that more accessible for people.
What are the consequences of not having enough volunteers for any organization?
Well, the sad reality is that some of these organizations, some that are here today, have no staff members whatsoever. They're entirely volunteer-led. So if volunteers aren't able to volunteer anymore, those organizations cease to exist. That's a sad reality, that without volunteer support, programs don't happen or marketing doesn't happen. Really important logistical things that need to happen in organizations aren't possible without the support. It's really overwhelming when you actually consider the contribution that volunteers are bringing to our province, because it really is. I don't think you would ever be able to put a dollar value on those contributions, because they're truly keeping our communities going in a lot of places.
Well, it was an emotional night for Miawpukek First Nation. Last evening was the premiere of a new documentary that takes a look into an important and influential part of the community's history. Here Now's Jessica Singer brings us this story.
A night like no other in Miawpukek to honor a piece of history that's forever shaped this community.
When we went into that fast, it was a determination that we probably thought we were going to die, given the mood of Pickford at the time.
In 1983, the province was withholding federal money that was supposed to be going to the Miawpukek First Nation. Activists traveled to St. John's to confront the government and occupied a government office. When that didn't work, 9 men, led by Chief Mizel Joe, started a hunger strike.
Well, I'm so happy that we decided to stay and fight it out, because I think Con River or Miawpukek would have been a different community today if we did. You only had that one chance in a million to make it work. We took it.
Joe's nephew didn't want people to forget that story. It was his idea to turn it into a documentary.
This documentary was done for the community to be able to show our younger generation, to be able to carry on those stories, hear them firsthand. They can look back and say, my uncle or my dad or my granddad or my grandmom was a part of that.
It was a project 2 years in the making, one that couldn't have happened without help from his producer and mentor.
Such an important story. I don't know why it's not being taught in schools, because it's a huge part of Newfoundland history. And when Noel asked me to do it, I was all in.
It all led to this, the first big gala event the community has ever seen. There was a table for each hunger striker, 6 for those who are still alive, and 3 for the family and friends of hunger strikers who have since passed away. It was a moment of reflection and grieving for the wives of hunger strikers who weren't there to see their story immortalized on screen.
There are so many people I want to thank. Most importantly, I want to thank the hunger strikers and the families. Without further ado, I think we should put it on.
My name is Noel Joe. I'm a Mi'kmaq from Miawpukek First Nation, and this is my journey.
So the archival footage to this and the newspaper clippings, the photos, everything was there, but it was all scattered all around, right? So, and some of this footage, even the hunger strikers never even seen.
The province was still very stubborn about the whole thing. And you realized how serious it was becoming. And you got thinking, my God, are these people really going to let our people die?
She's been somebody who's always had visions, and I've always went for them and have never taken a no for an answer.
Susan Hill's mom negotiated on behalf of Miawpukek.
I'm obviously very proud. There's stuff that she has not talked about with us growing up in the film, and I'm sure there were things that were hard for her to talk about.
It's a difficult chapter of their history, but one she says her 2 sons can benefit from.
I really hope that this is a film that he can learn from as he gets older as well. My mom's up there in age, and we know that she's not going to be around here to teach him all these things. So I'm so glad that this was captured on camera, because by the time he's old enough to really understand, she might not be here. But she can continue to teach him through this, right? So that's important to me.
It was a night about history, preserving and celebrating it for those who lived it, and sharing it with generations who will carry that legacy forward. Jessica Singer, CBC News, Miawpukek.
Some traffic cops in India have found a new way to beat the summer heat. just check out these custom air-conditioned helmets. Police in Western India are now required to wear the headgear amid soaring summer temperatures. They're designed with features to help cope with the heat and stave off dehydration, and can keep a person cool up to 8 hours. From April to June, various parts of the country now see as many as 20 days with temperatures of over 40 degrees Celsius. Wow. And speaking of the heat, spring weather is starting to kick in some places. And it's not just humans that enjoy it. Animals get out and about as well, like this weekend in England. Oh my. The southern white rhinoceros isn't usually seen on England's pastures. This was at Whipsnade Zoo. It's the first spring for 6-week-old Benja, born there as part of an endangered species program. Only about 10,000 of the rhinos remain worldwide. That's adorable. Well, it's Friday. Get comfortable and let's find out who's celebrating. Let's start with a golden anniversary. Gerald and Valerie Thorne of Portugal Cove are marking 50 years together. Anniversary greetings going out to Walter and Linda Gibbons in Red Bay. They're celebrating 57 years of marriage. Congratulations to Peter and Jeanette Harvey on their 58th anniversary. They're from St. John's and now live in Langley, BC. Happy 50th anniversary to Randy and Bonnie Spurl of Catalina. Wishing Carl and Betty Power a happy 56th anniversary in Clarenville. Happy anniversary to Lloyd and Audrey Thomas of St. Paul's River in Quebec. They're celebrating 61 years. Best wishes to Margie and Randy Warren, who are celebrating their 50th anniversary. Happy 60th anniversary to Nathaniel and Barbara Gould, who are living in Bear Cove. Anniversary greetings going out to Anne and Freeman of South River. They're marking 56 years together. Happy 53rd anniversary to Henry and Joyce Ackerman of Mary's Harbor. Happy 50th anniversary tomorrow to Maureen and Ray Drover of Upper Island Cove. Wishing Eric and Dulcie Bennett a happy 57th anniversary. They're from St. Paul's and now live in Baddock, Nova Scotia. Congratulations to Charles and Phyllis Warford of Upper Gullies, Conception Bay South, who celebrate their 65th anniversary on Sunday. Happy 50th anniversary today to Sharon and Wally Murphy of Calvert. Happy anniversary to Don and Nina Bannister of Lethbridge. They're marking 56 years of marriage. Wishing Clarence and Effie Smith in Grand Falls, Windsor a happy 74th anniversary today. Wow, 74 years. Happy 56th anniversary to Dorcas and Ernest Pierce of Deer Lake. Congratulations to George and Una Joseph of Gander, who are celebrating their 64th anniversary. Happy anniversary to Mike and Irene Myers of Bird Cove. They've been together for 5 decades. Happy 50th anniversary tomorrow to Bud and Doreen Noseworthy of Stephenville. Anniversary greetings going out to Harvey and Audrey Reed of Bain Harbor, who are celebrating their 62nd anniversary. Wishing Woodrow and Dora Hibbs of Peterview a happy 61st anniversary. Happy 50th anniversary tomorrow to Richard and Debbie Fahy in Foxtrap. Best wishes to Walter and Audrey Jenkins of Grand Falls, Windsor on their upcoming 61st anniversary. Congratulations to Lyndon and Barbara Roberts on their 54th anniversary. They live in Grand Falls, Windsor. Happy 66th anniversary to Ritas and Shirley Hancock of Bishop's Falls, who celebrated this past weekend. Anniversary greetings going out to Edward and Eileen Raymond in the Goulds. They are celebrating their 56th anniversary tomorrow. Wishing Larry and Ruby Holloway of Gander a happy 50th anniversary. Congratulations to Mike and Marion Seward of Sunnyside. They're marking 54 years of marriage. Anniversary greetings going out to Tom and Helen Foote of Buren. They're celebrating 56 years together. Happy 55th anniversary to Augustus and Dorothy Foster of Shoe Cove. Happy 62nd anniversary to Mary and Harvey Luffman of Harbor Grace. Wishing Ted and Mildred Quinlan from Campbellton a happy 50th anniversary today. Happy 56th anniversary today to Ignatius and Veronica Walsh of Plate Cove West. 63rd anniversary greetings to Ruby and Gerald George from Lady Cove, now in Hickman's Harbor. Best wishes to Ivan and Katie Greening celebrating their 59th anniversary. It's a golden anniversary today for Keith and Nancy Young of Springdale. Happy 56th anniversary to Mike and Louise Banks of Conception Bay South. Congratulations to Pauline and Malcolm Fudge of Deer Lake, who are celebrating their 67th anniversary. Now to some birthdays. Happy 90th birthday to Clayton Tipple of Corner Brook. Wishing Lou Collett from Cape Royal a happy 90th birthday as well. Happy 95th birthday to Sadie Nash of Branch, now in St. John's. Birthday wishes going out to Beatrice O'Reilly, who's turning 95. Wishing Samuel Upshaw a happy 90th birthday. He's from Chance Cove, but lived most of his life in Foxtrap. Happy 98th birthday to Cyril Pope of Stones Cove, now living in Mount Pearl. Violet Quintin of Southern Bay is celebrating her 92nd birthday tomorrow. Happy 93rd birthday to Elizabeth Hussey in South River. Best wishes to Mary Beck of Springdale, who's turning 96. Happy 91st birthday to Florence Reeder of Bloomfield, now in Clarenville. Birthday greetings going out to Irene Crispy, who was born 99 years ago today. Happy 90th birthday to Leo Slaney from St. Lawrence. It's a 91st birthday on Monday for Alrita Dumphy of Vander, and with a full century under her belt, happy 100th birthday today to Helen Hinchy. Hope you have a wonderful celebration.
And in the weather, you know, tomorrow is your day to get out and do anything if you want to over the weekend, because it looks like as we head into Saturday evening, we've got this snow rain sort of mix starting to move through southern Labrador, starting to accumulate down here on the southwest coast, and it's going to bring snow or rain to the west coast, possibly the northern peninsula as well. And as we take a closer look at our icons here, it looks as though we will see that mix that I just talked about for the west coast, possibly through the Straits and even Cartwright with your temperatures around 3-4 degrees. It could bring some rain through central at 7 and 8 degrees, and 7 degrees there for Marystown and for St. John's, where we could see those showers. As we move on into Sunday evening, this system starts to depart and we get some cloud moving over the island. And Monday, well, you know, Monday's not actually looking too bad for us. Here in the east, those double-digit temperatures resume for St. John's and in through Gander and Grand Falls, Windsor, 11 and 12 degrees. A couple of degrees cooler on the south coast for Marystown at 8. Port aux Basques, it looks like you will see some sun and cloud, but for the west coast, as you go up a little bit further, you could have a chance of showers. You could see some showers through St. Anthony and the Straits there as well. Could see some flurries, but some sun and cloud in Nain, and the rest of Labrador is looking quite nice. Now, as we take a look at our 5-day forecast for St. John's and Eastern Newfoundland, it looks like Saturday is a nice day. Like I said, we've got Sunday, that rain moving in at 7 degrees, a lovely day on Monday. The double-digit temperatures there, cooling off though for Tuesday through Wednesday through midweek next week, picking up some cloud there as well. For central Newfoundland, Saturday looking like a nice day, picking up the rain on Sunday, Monday looking lovely too. Could see a flurry though on Tuesday as things drop back. Wednesday looking like the sun and the warmth will return. Bit more precipitation in the forecast for western Newfoundland over the next 5 days. Saturday looking like your good day over the next number of days. Sunday could bring snow or rain. Monday you could see a shower, could see flurries. Tuesday you could see a shower again on Wednesday. Sorry about that one. And as we head to Eastern Labrador, it's looking like Sunday and Monday are good for you. So is Wednesday, and for Lab West, Sunday, Monday, and Wednesday is good. Now, because of all of that snow, we've got to leave you with something nice and optimistic with some blue sky. This is sunny Cape Ray. The photo comes to us from John Butt. And of course, if you have a photo that you would like to send to us, you can always do so at nlphotos@cbc.ca.
Oh, wow. What a beautiful shot. Love to go for a stroll along that beach. Just a beautiful area. Couldn't get over the temperature differences there for Lab West in the minus there. It's much chillier there.
Off.
Yeah, much chillier than other parts of the province. But yeah, it does sound like tomorrow is the day to get out.
And enjoy.
Putter around the garden or whatever.
Indeed.
Looking forward to it. All right, well, that wraps up this week for us. Thank you so much for spending part of your evening with us, and hope you have a wonderful weekend.
Good night.